Hey there, welcome to a quick little video. We're going to talk about Ironman Chattanooga, and we're going to talk about the places to stay and my experiences. I've done the full 3 times, and I've done the half once. And my name is Ryan Falkenrath. For those of you who don't know, this is Seth-based Triathlon, and we're going to go over Ironman Chattanooga, the best places to stay. So what I usually do is I start off with the website. I look at the courses because my recommendations after doing 8 Ironman triathlons and I think I'm up to 14 half Ironman races is to get a location that is close to the finish line, because if you've got multiple Ironman Chattanooga is nice, you've got one transition, but if you have multiple transitions and this one, the swim starts you up the river, so they take you out there. So if you try to get close to the start and it's not the same place as the finish, it's kind of a pain to get everything back, loaded up, and all the way back there. But I try to find places that are close. And plus, you want to look at Ironman Village. So I made a mistake. My first Ironman was 2013 at Lake Tahoe, and the start and the finish area was probably a 50 or 45-minute drive from start to finish. So unfortunately, I spent a lot of time going back and forth where I was staying, because that was right by the start where the finish was, for check-in, for gear, for all the other stuff, all the other things that are happening in Ironman Village. It was quite a time-consuming process to get from where I was staying to the finish line area, or Ironman Village where the finish line was. So my recommendation is look at least at the run course and find out where the finish line is, because typically that is going to be where Ironman Village is, and it is going to be off Ross's Landing. So all this stuff going on right here, you can look at the swim, you can look at the bike, and you're going to see all the start and finish points are going to be at the same place for Ironman Chattanooga. So I would highly recommend, even though the swim starts upriver, I would not get someplace close or try to get close there necessarily. But we'll kind of go over in Chattanooga specifically. Staying in different locations and stuff is not really a problem. Traffic is not really a problem. Getting to places is not really a problem. You just got to be careful on the run course. You might look at that on the run course just to make sure that if you're staying someplace, there's tons of houses on this side of the river, on the north side. There's not as many houses along the actual run portion on the south side of the river. There are some places to stay out here, but if you're going to stay over here and you want to be on the run course or something like that, I would definitely be mindful that if you have to cross the run course anywhere, so that could take some time. And if you're after the race, you got all your stuff, you're tired, and you just want to get to where you're at, take a shower and go to bed, getting across that run course is going to be difficult and time consuming. So just keep that in mind. But specifically for Ironman Chattanooga, I always looked at Ross's Landing. So that's where I start. So my first big stopping point is Priceline.com, and I am not advocating for Priceline, but this is kind of a good starting point. And you can also go to travel on the Ironman website. Typically, they'll have hotels or the places that they're working with for reduced rates or anything. But typically, what you're going to find is, you got your things to do, where to stay. So this is what they recommend: Chattanooga hotels, where to stay in Chattanooga. So again, you're sent to visit Chattanooga. Scroll down and find accommodations. So there's different places to stay. So you're kind of, it takes you to the visit Chattanooga site. So they don't have specific recommendations, and some races will have deals that you can call the hotels. We'll look at Chattanooga, Tennessee, and 2021. Usually Priceline, they may or may not have hotels. If you're looking ways out, I know some people are already booking them a year out. So unfortunately, it doesn't go out that far. But let's just pick a month before. Well, I recommend usually two, and this is a September 26th. So if you look at the calendar, September 26th will be on a Sunday. I would recommend getting in at least Thursday so you can do check-in Friday. If you have the time, get in Wednesday night. And then you have all day Thursday to kind of get your bearings, get checked in, all that. Friday to kind of chill out, have a good time. Saturday, check in your bike, drop off all your gear, get everything prepped, and then race day Sunday. And then check out Monday if you're in a hurry to get back home wherever you're going. So I would just recommend like a Thursday to Monday type of setup. Let's just do one room. So I'm doing this just to look at where hotels are at on the map. So the other one is Airbnb. Go.com. Wednesday before. Check out date we want to make. Let's just do one adult for now. Search. You will see a lot of duplications between VRBO and between Airbnb. It's not the end of the world, but they do have some places that are different between each website. So I do check those sites. So again, zoom in. So we're near the aquarium for the swim portion. So again, I like to get places that are pretty close to the action. So over here, this is going to be where Ross's Landing's at. This is where all the action's at. So you can see that there's going to be apartments, 188 a night, 173 a night. So the closer you get, the more expensive it will be. The further away you get, less expensive it will be. Restaurants located on here, so you get a hotel room. So hotels will also go on to Airbnb, downtown suite, entire apartment. So there's some pretty good, and Airbnb already has stuff for next year. There's guest houses. Notice there's stuff over on the run course, entire townhouse. People will rent out houses and they're on the run course, so it's kind of nice and convenient. But realize that if you got something over here and you got people staying, for them to get across this bridge or to get across the river, they're probably going to have to go a ways out to get across there, and traffic's going to be a bear. So just be ready for that. They need to be camped out in these different places. Same for vrbo.com. So when I've stayed, let's see if we can see it on the map. What can I help you with? No. No. Can you play in your room a little bit longer, please? And shut your door. I'll come get you. I'll come get you when I'm done. Can you take your stuff to your room and shut your door, please? So if you do look at a map, you can zoom in a little bit. And that's what I like to use. just different websites. Because Priceline, I mean, if you look the week before, that gives you an idea at least where the hotels are at. So if you're looking over here at Ross's Landing, you have a few. So basically, Ross's Landing is going to be this green space up here. This is where a lot of the action is going to happen. So there's a hotel right down the street. There's the Marriott. There's Residence Inn. There's another one down the street, Marriott. So these are great locations if you want to just walk to everything. It's a great location for anybody that's with you. All they got to do is just walk down here. I mean, this is a lot of the action. A lot of action is going to happen at Ross's Landing, and there's going to be tons of stuff for them to do around here and watch the athletes and everything. And the nice thing is, if you do have families, you bring little kids or something like that, Market Street is pretty nice. They've got all kinds of things going on here. There's an aquarium here. There's museums. There's a rock climbing wall. There's tons of restaurants. Really, if you stayed in one of these hotels, you can basically just park your car the entire time and not really need to go anywhere. There's grocery stores nearby. You can go get groceries if you need to. And some of these, this is the week before because they didn't have the week open when we were looking here. But really, 159, 144, it's not that bad. But really, this Courtyard by Marriott and then Residence Inn, let's just look at those for grins and giggles. These are great hotels. You just stumble out and you walk right down. I mean, when you get the Airbnb and VRBO, it's kind of hard because there's really no houses or apartments down there necessarily as close. So the one thing that I will check is the free cancellation available. Choose rooms with free cancellation because as we're living through a pandemic, it is convenient that if you can have cancellation, you might have to pay a little bit more. But notice there's free cancellation for August 2nd. So this is the week before, usually with the check-ins, no risk. So I would highly recommend that you go through and get a free cancellation for your room. Make sure if you check on a rental, you check their cancellation policies. I've been kind of hosed personally with that with 2020 and the cancellations due to COVID-19. Eventually got them all settled, but unfortunately, so notice this one, free cancellation 48 hours after the call, cancel, blah, 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 get a refund. So, September 15th, the race is September 22nd. That should give you plenty of time. If the pandemic's still an issue, you're going to get plenty of cancellation notice. And I think a lot of renters for Airbnb, VRBO are going to change their policies. So make sure that you get, if you go Airbnb, you go VRBO, you get a good cancellation policy. But like I said, you can get some places a little bit closer. So when you zoom out on the map, so let's look out a little bit past that. So let's say, you want something a little bit more affordable. $219 a night isn't your thing. Notice there's other Comfort Inn downtown. There's other things on, I think, the East Ridge. So I've stayed right in town. I've done Airbnbs kind of down the road a little bit and kind of the main area. Plenty of grocery stores, plenty of restaurants, plenty of parking, plenty of access. Didn't take me that much time at all. There's plenty of parking by Ross's Landing, so you can come down there and park, and it's not a big deal. I have also stayed on the Econo Lodge, $59 a night. I might have stayed this one or in a Holiday Inn Express, perhaps. Clarion Inn. So there's plenty of restaurant or hotels down here, and really driving in is not a big deal. So if you want to save a little bit of money on your hotel and you're okay with driving a little bit, traffic's not a thing. It's 10, 15 minutes to get downtown. The highway shoot you right there. You're right there. You go find a parking spot, pay for your parking, and you're good. It's really not that difficult to get in and out. Some venues are a little bit more difficult, but Chattanooga is really friendly as far as that goes. I stayed on the north side of the river and driven across the bridge for the 70.3, had no problems whatsoever. There are some nice little spots on the north side of the river. It's a little bit newer strip malls and area and grocery stores. And I've gone places and got my hair cut before the race. It's great. Not had a problem. So really, this is what I would recommend specifically for Chattanooga 70.3. If you have the resources, to make your trip immensely more enjoyable, to maximize your time, I would look at the hotels right by Ross's Landing. Look, you just stumble out the front door and you walk right down, and there you are, Ironman Village. You have to walk, you have to mess with cars, you have to mess with parking, you have to mess with anything. Plenty of restaurants, plenty of grocery stores, plenty of activities for families and everything within walking distance. And if you want to, Quintana Roo Bikes, they have a factory out there and they do tours usually before the races out there. So you can just head on out. It's a little bit outside of town, but there's plenty of activities, plenty of things to do. Ironman Village is going to have tons of stuff for kiddos. They've got the kiddo runs. They've got everything. There's parks down here. There's aquariums. There's everything to keep you and your family pretty occupied down there. So this is a great venue as far as having something for everybody. Said, if you've got the resources, I definitely recommend looking at hotels right downtown, specifically Courtyard, and looking at the Marriott. I believe they're taking reservations, but you have to call them because they're not opening up those blocks yet. So call them if you're trying to get in, make the reservations. It is highly worth it just to be able to walk down into the Ross's Landing Ironman Village, even Hampton Inn, Doubletree. You're just maybe a mile down the street. It's not a big deal. Weather's usually pretty nice in May for the half and September for the full. Walking around is not a problem. But if you do Airbnb or VRBO, it's perfectly fine as well. I've done that most of the time. I've done it, like I said, a hotel kind of on the East Bridge. But you can also go and do Airbnb and VRBO. You'll get a little bit outside of town. So I've stayed in places kind of on Main Street and Market Street and some other places. So there's Crash Pad, Common Hostel. So there's different things outside of town, outside of downtown, but you're really not that far away. But you do have to drive and you will have to park. So that's the main things. Like I said, if you got the funds, pick a hotel right by there. You just walk out, park the car, you're there for the week, you're good. If you're looking to save some money with Airbnb or you want your own kitchen or anything like that, there's plenty of options. Don't be warded off by being on the north side, but just realize for the full, there may be some time involved to get through the run course and traffic and everything. Really, as long as you're there in transition right around when it opens and you're there kind of early, it's really no big deal. You just ride right in. There's plenty of parking. It's really not that bad. So don't be worried if you're staying north or south or kind of outside the downtown area. It really doesn't take that much time off there's no additional driving really. There's no real traffic in Chattanooga that I've witnessed in my 4 times being there for different races and stuff. So definitely don't be worried about that. But as always, check for the cancellation policies. Of course, look for your best deals, but not refundable or free cancellation. So yeah, you may save, $27 a night, but free cancellation, at least you can cancel that and you're not out the money. In this day and age, I think that's pretty key. So the key is check your course maps, find out where your finish line is, find out where Ironman Village is, and kind of set that as your central base. And then I check Priceline for hotel locations. And then I will also go directly to the hotel websites, and I will check them as well to see if their rates are any different. But at least with Priceline, if they've got the cancellation policy on there, you're good to go. But if you've got problems and you need to move it or shift it or something comes up and you don't have a refundable policy, you're going to run into problems going through Priceline. So I'll also check the webs or the hotels directly. So if I'm wanting to stay at Residence Inn, go spelling. Residence Inn, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Unfortunately, that took me to Priceline as well. If you just go to a Marriott or something like that. I also check the sites there as well, just to see if there's anything different, and if you have rewards programs with anything, maybe you'll get a different a discounted price or anything. But that's, in a nutshell, what I would recommend, especially for Ironman Chattanooga. If you got the resources, get a hotel, the Marriott, or the Residence Inn downtown. There's a new one, the Edwin Hotel. There's also the Spring Hill Suites by Marriott. There's sidewalks and everything. You can walk right down to everything, and it's a perfect access location. A little bit less expensive. It's just kind of down the road a little bit. Just as nice hotels. It's a little bit further out. You get a little bit less costly. But then, don't be worried about that. There's plenty of parking if you have to drive down here. There's parking garages, parking lots, but you will have to pay. Plenty of restaurants, plenty of everything. So you can park and be there all day and not a problem. Airbnb is a great option as well. I've had success. I've stayed north of the river. I've stayed south. I've stayed west of town. And it's really, getting there isn't a problem, and driving in really isn't a problem. So just know that there are plenty of options for Chattanooga. If you got any questions and you're looking at some places and kind of have any questions, always put them in the comments. Let me know. Reply back to me. And happy training, happy racing out there.